1.25 million. 1.25 million was the number of violent cases in the US that was reported to authorities. Now, according to the FBI, this is only about half of the actual violent crimes in the US because most of them do not even get reported. Now, to you, this may be just a statistic, but for me, it's a lot more personal. I have a friend, her name's Sarah. So she was walking down the streets of Seattle looking for a bus stop, and she noticed that a strange man was following her. So she got a little nervous, and she had her phone in hand, and she called up our friend Richard, who is a judo football player, big guy, and had him pick her up. It was only then, when he picked her up, that this strange man left her alone. Now, little did they know that this man was actually part of a sex trafficking ring that had been busted later on that night, and they found out on the local news. So, to alleviate this issue of violent crimes, we of Anima Enterprises have created the Securo Safety Case to bring safety to your hands. So the problem with violent crimes is that many times the victim does not have the ability to take out their phone and dial 911 and talk to an operator. As you can see in the picture, she is restrained and in need of help. So I would also like to point out that Sarah also had her phone with her and called for help. And to let you know about our solution to the problem, Karishma will elaborate.
So Lucy highlighted our problem, which is that people, when they're in danger, do not have the ability to actually pull out their phone, unlock it, and call the emergency providers. So we at Anima Enterprises created the Securo Safety Case, which is an iPhone case that brings safety into your hands. So what is it? The Securo Safety Case is an iPhone case that when you find yourself in danger, you can squeeze it 3 times, and the case will work with an iPhone app to contact the local emergency providers. Now, one thing that's nice about our case is that you have the opportunity to speak to a representative or somebody like an operator, but you don't have to take it, and that's what makes our case so convenient to use.
So, as Karishma pointed out, one of the best things about our case is the fact that you don't have to dial 911. It's very easy to use, and it's very simple to connect to your local emergency responders. It takes form as a phone case, so as Karishma and Lucy pointed out, you don't need to pull your phone out, perhaps unlock it, and speak to a representative. Sometimes you just don't have time for that.
So our product, Securo, is more than just a phone case. It's also an iPhone app, and it comes with access to a website. So the iPhone app works with the phone case to communicate with the local emergency providers by sending information such as GPS coordinates, other location tags, and date and time. And Aishu is going to talk a little bit about our website.
All right, so this is the homepage of Anima Enterprises website. As can be seen on this homepage and the About tab, our company and our product is described. In the Shop tab, you can shop for our products as well as recommend them to other customers. In the Safety Tips tab, we enable the customer to learn a little bit more about defense skills so that they can defend themselves in any situation.
Now, our website is not just a homepage. You can actually access our website. It has more information at animasecuro.weebly.com.
Microphone, please. So just to discuss the uses of our phone case. So let's say Amy has a Securo Safety Case. She's 35 years old and she's walking down the street when somebody attacks her. And let's say she's fighting her off and she doesn't have time to pull out her phone and talk to a representative. And her phone's in her pocket, and what she can do is place her hand over her pocket, squeeze 3 times, and then signals will go out for emergency services to come. Well, let's say this same thing happens, but she's in a garage and there's no signal. and she gets taken. So what will happen is she activates the case, and a GPS coordination signal will be sent out continuously until emergency services are reached. For example, one issue with 911 is if you have no signal, you dial them, what you get is, sorry, we cannot reach 911. So also, let's say Amy has a 3-year-old and who's playing with her phone, and he accidentally activates it. So what she can do is that she notices that it's activated, rush over, and squeeze the phone case and deactivate the signal. No, it's also me. So our competitors. So 911 is one of our biggest competitors because people know to call 911 when they are in an emergency. It's the #1 way currently to contact emergency services. What's different from our case in 911 is that you do not have to speak to an operative. Most times when you're being attacked, you just do not have the opportunity to, and it makes it a lot safer and reasonable way to reach emergency services. Also, since we are creating a phone case, another competitor is iPhone case manufacturers. So in the US, the 2 biggest manufacturers are Spec and OtterBox. So what's different from their product and ours is that not only is our product, our case, to be decorative and to protect your phone, but it's also to bring safety to you and protect you as a person. And currently, there are no product quite like ours. So there's OnStar, but that's for when you are in trouble in your car, maybe you've gotten into a car accident. Life Alert is for older folks who maybe have fallen down at home and cannot get back up without assistance. So we are entering a new and creative market.
So speaking of markets, with a product like this, it's difficult to pinpoint a particular market and say, yes, these are the kinds of people who would be interested in our product. Our product can be used for almost everybody. But for the time being, we're just saying that our potential customers right now are those who invest in their security and safety, and that would be home security companies. Right now, we looked at statistics and saw that there are approximately 5 million people who subscribe to ADT/TyE, and we're looking at those as people who invest in their safety and therefore are potential customers. Furthermore, 85% of people polled in Bellevue, Washington, said that they would be interested in purchasing our product. It is also important to know that because we are indeed dealing with a phone case here, 55% of users in the smartphone market are indeed iPhone users, giving us some traction. The last bit of information I'm going to give you is the fact that in 2012, studies have shown that there's been a 32% increase in mobile case sales, making it the most popular mobile accessory. So yes, the market is indeed there.
So Atticus demonstrated that there is a huge potential for our product in the market. Now, to narrow down our market, we first of all look at iPhone users because our case is made for iPhones. But within the iPhone user market, we're looking at home security customers because they have established and have made it clear that they're willing to invest in their personal safety. Our product costs $45 for the initial phone case, and it's a $15 monthly subscription plan. And those prices reflect and reinforce the fact that we are targeting people who are willing to invest in their safety. And another unique thing about our product is that it combines two markets. So we're creating a new market with iPhone users and home security customers. So it's a new venture, and it has a lot of perspective.
Like both Atticus and Karishma stated earlier, our company and our product has a lot of potential. We want to expand nationally in the future. Now, in order to expand nationally, we need a stronger infrastructure as well as other capabilities such as higher, more advanced advertising capabilities. Now, the quickest way to do this is to gain the partnership of another company. Now, this partnership can not only benefit us, it will also benefit the partner themselves. We are tapping into a new market, a new source of revenue, and a new amount of customers for this for the partnership. Now, here are some of the companies that we would like to partner with. We have both home security companies and phone case companies, but we are leaning towards TyE Incorporation, which is a home security company. Now, Tyco Incorporation has easily recognizable company, and customers trust their product, which is home security. We want customers to trust our product as well, and that is the reason we are partnering with them. Here's a 6-year financial projection. As you can see, in the first year, we are in the red, but as the years progress, we get a significantly larger profit. Now, this is a very conservative, these are very conservative numbers, but at the same time, yes? These are very conservative numbers, but at the same time, either way, we will have a significant profit by the 6th year.
All right, so today we ask for $250,000 from you. We currently have $50,000 in gifts from family and friends. With the $250,000, we'll be spending that on advertising, manufacturing, research, and development. We will also be seeking guidance in securing a strategic alliance with one or more of the companies that we listed earlier in the presentation. In exchange, we'll be giving you 15% stake in our company. By year 5, we expect to give you 1,000% return on investment. And obviously by then, your initial investment will be repaid. We believe in our product, and we believe that our team and our product have great potential, and we want you to be with us for that. I'm Atticus Liu.
I'm Aishwarya Mandyam.
I'm Karishma Mandyam.
I'm Lucy Zhu, and we are Anima Enterprises introducing Securo Safety Cases, where we bring safety from our hands to yours. Thank you.
Maybe answer any questions?
Yeah, very interesting. Just on the product, couple of things. So not talking means that the emergency services recognize your service. I guess GPS is activated immediately. Okay, and that's one. So when the 3 times pushing happens, aside from that, have you considered building in other features like a very loud siren? And I know you can't attach a spray gun or something, but like, you know, squeezing it is one thing,
Yeah.
but put something in there. Like, wouldn't you kind of use that as a possibility to make it even more kind of defensive for the person?
Okay, so that's a great question. So we did consider that. So for making noises on the phone, what we considered is if you're isolated and it makes a noise, it might not scare off the predator. Instead, they might take away your phone and throw it away. What we did consider is further on in our company, once we have our product out, we will also try and install, like, it'll record voices so you can take it to evidence and even take pictures as well. And also, we wanted to add to the case extra battery so your phone does not die.
So, first off, great idea. Thank you for presenting this. Help me understand the whole scheme on what. So what happens? I press it 3 times. Mm-hmm. It goes to a call center, and then what happens?
So when you press it 3 times, the phone case is going to work with an iPhone app to send out a signal to one of our servers, and that technology is Amazon AWS. So those servers, we will have already established connections with each emergency provider in a particular location, and those servers will be directly contacting each of those emergency providers. So it has to find the provider that's closest to you.
Right. So so if you, because you go back into the home Tycos, so the process flow over there is if there is an alarm, this call center calls the house to find out everything is okay. And the other person says everything is not okay, so they send some help. Mm-hmm. In this case, I'm not completely following your process flow. Where is the call center role in this? What is the call center going to do? He's going to send police to you, or he's going to ask guys what's going on?
So basically, we don't necessarily need to use a call center. We do have a call center graphic up there, but that's optional. That is if you choose to speak with a representative. what we anticipate will happen is that once you squeeze the phone 3 times, data will be transmitted to our servers, which will be then forwarded to an emergency responder. We want to use the infrastructure provided by the national security company because they already have the connections to local emergency services across the continental U.S.
So emergency, like a 911, that's emergency service?
No,
like an ADT.
Like
yeah, but ADT doesn't work. People call you back. Okay.
we don't necessarily work with ADT's call centers, but we want to use their infrastructure for contacting emergency services.
So when he's outside, you're using the network of the mobile company, correct?
Yes.
So where is the ADT coming in? At the emergency service over here?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
because they already have contacts with emergency services across the country.
So what is the IP and the technology here? Is it the case? Is it the app? Or is it the what you're doing on the server? Or is it a combination of that?
All 3.
Okay. So what is the technology in the case itself?
Can we go to that side? So basically, inside the case, what we have is there are buttons on the sides. There's a central chip, and there's an electrical impulse. So that goes through the charging port. And with the electrical impulse, that's how you activate the app and everything, and that's how you get to the, yeah.
Okay, got it.
Can this be done without the case? What you're trying to do, because with all the sensors being put on the phone, where they can monitor my blood pressure, which is a sensor, right? So will this get obsolete when we can just put any kind of a thing? You can just squeeze your phone. You don't need to squeeze the case.
So we did take that into consideration. We did consider maybe the lock button or the home button, but the fact is, if we had it as one of the buttons on our phones, people would have too many false alarms. Because I know from experience, I've accidentally butt dialed people. I've opened it on and off before on my phone. So we want to limit false alarms to emergency services, because if we don't, then we're just being a nuisance instead of a help.
Right, and kind of going off of that, the reason we chose a phone case is because when people hold phones, people tend to hold the outsides of a phone. Currently, there aren't that many buttons. Sure, there are buttons, but we feel like if we include more, so that if you squeeze the phone, and it's frankly quite easy to squeeze the phone when you're tense and in your emergency, it's much easier to activate the app that way.
To validate the concept of working, how many trials you did in terms of cases, how many used, how many people did you use? Do you have the data to show how many times it is correct and how many times it is wrong, false alarms?
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
How many people have tested it, basically?
Okay.
Currently, we have not validated the product, but we already have a test market built into our business plan. For the first 6 months of business, we are going to be testing in Renton, Washington. We feel like that is a very good market to test in before we bring it to the state of Washington and eventually the continental U.S.
So the 250 that you need is for more than the testing, or just for the testing?
Well, ideally, I think it would be for the testing, because we expect the funds to be used for the first year and potentially more.
So my question is about the last mile. So imagine your case works, the signal goes to your server, and then you trigger an emergency responder. Emergency responder is the last mile, because if they don't respond, then this is not very useful, right? Mm-hmm. Which you don't control, by the way, right? Have you talked to any of the emergency responders?
So we did talk with a police officer, and we talked about, what happens when you get a signal, what happens when somebody calls, and they answer nearly every one of them. They have, they even answer them if you actually don't say anything on the line. If you just accidentally dial, then they just go. So we have talked with them. They do use something called they use triangulation, which is that's how they get your location and everything. But our case is actually using direct GPS coordinates. So even if you move, the police can find you.
Yeah, but my question is not that they will get the signal. They will get the signal. The question is that where are they, like for example, one of the problem with the home security companies has been that they get too many false alarms. And to a point that depending upon the townships, they will actually start penalizing you for every, for every false alarm. So I don't know if that can be done on a universal basis.
Well, we have significantly reduced the possibility of a false alarm using the phone itself, the case itself. Once you activate it, you squeeze it 3 times, you have 5 seconds in which it vibrates. And during that 5 seconds, if you squeeze it again, your alarm is completely discontinued. You don't have that. That reduces the possibility of a false alarm.
Furthermore, if the 5 seconds seems too short, we can always change the time on it to allow for more time to discontinue the signal transmission.
So this one requires some hardware design and some app development. Where have you captured your development expenses, product development charges?
Right, great question. So the best thing of our company is that 3 of the 4 of us, that's Aishu, that's Karishma, and that's myself, we are all developers. If you want to go to, we're all developers. As it stands right now, we currently want to hire an external developer to help us out, and that'll hopefully get us going in the right direction in terms of developing the app. We can also trust our skills with hardware to design the case with Lucy, who is handling the design, but we also plan on building it ourselves, at least building the prototype before we mass produce it.
Thank you. We're out of time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.